Oh boy, Comet Atlas, have you kept me busy. What's up everybody, it's Justin again with JM Naturescapes and welcome to another video. We are here at Pemaquid Point Lighthouse. This is a beautiful East Coast lighthouse located south of Damariscotta. And it is probably one of the most photographed lighthouses here on the coast. It's very easily accessible and the rocky cliffs here are just gorgeous. There's some beautiful flowers here as well, and you really just can't go wrong photographing sunrise, even sunset here. We had a pretty decent sunset, not too many clouds, but looks like I hope the clouds are gonna go away anyways, because I need to shoot west for the Milky Way and the Comet tonight, which is what the plan is. So I have already shot the Comet quite a few times, such as last night. I shot a very nice Vertorama that had, it was tracked and stacked. So what I want to do with this video is I'm hoping that the clouds will start to kind of clear out as soon as it gets a little cooler and night falls. So we'll kind of see if that happens or not. Otherwise, I might get some really nice star glow because there's just a thin layer of some high clouds. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But last night I did have some high clouds as well. I don't think it was bad as tonight though. But across the lake, there is some extremely severe light pollution from Hammond Lumber. It's just a lumber company here in Maine, probably the biggest one. And across the lake, the light enters directly into the lens and it is very bad for night photography. So I wanted to come here tonight because I knew it was going to be clear. Well, it was supposed to be clear anyways, but there's no light pollution out toward the ocean. So I wanted to show you guys the difference between how shooting out toward no light pollution is, even if you're in a very dark area, such as where my home is. I'm in a fairly dark area, but it just happens to be that shooting across the lake, there's that one place at the lake that is really, really bad and messes up the shot. So I hope you guys enjoy this video of me running around and grabbing these shots. All right, so the plan tonight is I want to take some Vertoramas, just like I did the previous night at the lake. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do two things. I'm either gonna do a 1-shot foreground and 3-shot sky, or maybe I'll do a 2-shot foreground and 2-shot sky. I definitely want to have a good balance of foreground and sky. So why don't I do a comparison at the end of the video between the 2 shots and see which one I ultimately like better. So let's get on to shooting these blue hour shots. And I really like the light on with the lighthouse, so I might come back and do this shot again here at during night, because I do think I am going to move the tripod to the other side of the lighthouse over on the rocks, so I can get just a completely clear sky of or completely clear horizon for the sky shot. So let's get started. Well, just wrapped up my foreground shots for blue hour anyways, and you can see that these lights here on the gift shop are casting some light all over the foreground. Kind of helped out, kind of liked it, kind of didn't like it, but what I'm obsessed with right now is this light. I am loving how this light is just splitting, and I am definitely gonna have to figure out how to Photoshop those light rays in with the sky separately. So I almost kind of want to take stacked shots so I can get those light rays, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. So just have to figure that out, I guess. I could just track it from right here. Kind of seems like the best option, but I guess that is probably what's going to happen. I'm not really sure. You know what? I decided I'm gonna leave my backup camera here and I'm gonna do a time lapse so I can take some stacked shots just in case. Well, it ended up being a very moist night. Got a tiny little bit of dew on the lens, but I think it's totally salvageable. And yeah, I think tonight went pretty great. Other than when I began shooting the bottom row of the Vertorama, the clouds and you know, clouds were just annoyingly in the way, but as the night did go on, it did clear, and I did another just kind of 3 shots, just 1, 2, 3, because at the very end everything had kind of cleared out. But I am going to try and do those stacks. I did 12 images each stack, so I did 12, 12, and 12. And just for measure, I did 1, 2, 3, just in case those stacks don't work out. And as you can tell, the light, it just looks awesome. But I ended up doing a nice time lapse. I got the 50mm out, and I got a really nice shot of the comet falling across the lighthouse. And I really like how some of those shots came out. So I hope you enjoy this kind of next part of the video. All right, well, welcome to the next portion of the video, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink myself and bring in some additional content here. So Comet-Atlas was pretty freaking awesome. I chased it several different times. I have this little time lapse here with, it was during the first sunset that I photographed it with the time lapse, and went out a couple days later. Tracked it for about 45 minutes with my worst lens, and it's pretty much the only zoom lens I had. We had 300mm, but the point of this video is I wanted to show you guys the difference of this kind of little shot here of this shot at the lake, also a Vertorama. It is I believe 1 shot for the foreground, and it was 3 shots for the sky. All those shots were in landscape orientation. So it was 1 for the lake, and then stacked tracked shots for the top. And of course, we're going to go into the other shots from the video from the night I took this video. So as I mentioned in the video earlier, I set up the camera for a time lapse, and that was at 50mm. So here was a nice time lapse. This was really slow. It was at 24 frames per second. Each shot was at 5 seconds, and you can see the Great Rift of the Milky Way just falling into place now, and the Comet-Atlas has kind of fallen out of frame. But man, I really love those light rays. It just looks so dang good. And don't forget the stacked final shot that I took by combining some of the shots of the time lapse. You can see the comet there and the little break of the lighthouse, and I just am obsessed with how the light looks when it splits from the lighthouse. But here we have the shot from several nights prior from recording the Pemaquid video. So this is the shot that was back taken at the lake at my girlfriend's parents' place. And you can see there Hammond Lumber is across the lake, and they have those lights that shine out super bright into the lake, and it makes the light pollution pretty bad. But otherwise, the light pollution there is pretty dark, all things considered, for a rural area. And just wanted to show you that, you know, because the core's there, it's late October, it's really hard to get the core in general, but yes, you can tell the light pollution is pretty bad. Now, this shot is edited a little bit darker than what I normally do as well, but that is because the light pollution from across the lake, I wanted it to be a little bit darker. Figured I would show you guys the Bortle scale, the light pollution map of the 2 locations I was shooting. This first one is the lake of where my girlfriend's parents were, and you can see I was shooting southwest west, so there's not a whole lot of light pollution in that direction. Augusta is pretty much like due south. So over at Pemaquid Point, you are right by the ocean, which is this next one. So you can clearly see that the light pollution is much less and darker. But since I'm shooting southwest, you have some big cities close and far, or a small town close just across the water. And then you have Portland, which is the really big city, which is why there's that giant light bloom in that direction. Unfortunately, which was much, much worse than I was expecting because of how high the humidity was and how much moisture there was in the air. And here we are with the final image of the night. It is that blue hour blended, stacked, tracked panorama. And this was by far my favorite photo that I took of the comet. And you can clearly see the detail in the Milky Way and in the stars is so much better than what I had down at the lake. And you can even tell that the comet's tail is even a little bit longer, even though that this was a little bit further, or taken a day or two after I took the lake shot. And so the comet was a little bit darker because it was a little bit further away. But as I mentioned in the light pollution screenshot a little while ago, the light bloom here was much, much, much worse than I thought it would be. But thankfully, this shot still came out really, really